Ladies and gentlemen, the show we've all been waiting for, Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present REP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts, Kim Purvis and Allison Robinson. Live every Thursday night on Spreaker, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Be sure to check out their Facebook page, REP Paranormal Busters.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Everybody, welcome to another night of REP Paranormal and Friends. We have a special guest tonight. We have Anthony Blanchard, who is the founder and host of Center of Light Radio, whose listening audience has now reached over, 5 million listeners?
Over the years, yeah.
Oh, very nice. Okay. He's also an author of several books. He's got the best-selling The Divine Principle. He's got Anchoring Heaven on Earth and For the Love of God, A Spiritual Journey. And now The Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. He's also an intuitive and speaker and a philosopher, a poet, a composer. You do music and a film producer. So you've got a long list of things you do.
Yeah. I'm fortunate in that way to do exactly those things, that which I love. And which I love is simply creating from micro to macro. I just like being in this chair, which I live. When I'm not sleeping, I am in this chair. I'm running errands, I am in this chair. But thank you for acknowledging that. So I do those things I love, and it brings me great joy, and I don't want to do anything else.
Very nice. And by the way, I love this. I watched some of your YouTube videos and things, and I just love that room that you're in. Or is it a backdrop?
A lot of people think that I'm sitting on a throne. I'm not. I moved into an apartment because I was forced because of COVID. Uh-huh. And so I needed a background. So I don't need a bedroom that looks such as this is my props. So this is a headboard and a footboard that I just decorate.
Oh, very nice. Well, it looks very awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, okay. So let's kind of get into this and kind of give us a little bit of background. And how did you get into writing these books?
Pain, when you're in it, is suffering, not pain. Pain is when you break your toe. Suffering is what happens after something has been dropped on you.
Yeah.
Self-induced. But I was in 2 years of a dark night of the self-induced suffering soul. I was always destined for greatness. And I don't mean by Keith's greatness. I mean greatness. I was always destined to aspire for something greater than I've always known as myself. I was going to be a Catholic priest. If you knew me, you would laugh in a good way because it's hilarious. Wanted to be a rock star. My dad gave me a guitar and knew that there were girls involved and money involved and all the glitzy bing bang bling bling. And I put God in the closet and I pursued music. And I dated a girl for 10 years. When I finally found what I thought was the one, because that's what I played the guitar for the reason for, she said, "I'm going to see you later." So go back to the same closet and pulled God out.
Yeah, gosh. So is that how you came up with these books, or how did you come up with these ideas?
Well, when she left, I had nothing left. Nothing. I leaned on her for sex, money, shelter, food, transportation. I was an aspiring musician.
Right.
It all went away. So I went back to the closet and got on my metaphorical and literal knee and said, I need to hear your voice. A lot of people do that. I'm fortunate and or blessed because in my doing that, I found something. I don't know how I found it. I just came from a place deep within that said, I'm tired. I don't know shit. Somebody come inside of me and do something to me. And I meant it. I was passionate. I wanted it. I was sincere. I have to have it. I was humbled. Please put me on my knees as I am now. And I was vulnerable. Expose the light in me. Whatever that prayer was. And about 3 weeks to a month later, I was playing music at the casino. Long night. Long trip home. I was tired. Went to bed. And I was awakened, metaphorical and literal, out of my sleep by a voice. And it said, good morning, Keith. I said, somebody's in my house.
Yeah.
So I'm waking up out of the dream state to see, and there's nobody there. And it's like, okay, that must be a friend of mine who we made plans to run errands, and I didn't, whatever excuse I was trying to give myself. And there's nobody in my house. So I said, dream voice. Yeah, it's a dream voice. So I lay back down on the bed with the intentions of going back to sleep. And the voice said, Keith, I asked you to wake up, not only out of your night sleep, but your human slumber. And I sat up again in the bed and was laid violently, if that could work.
Yeah.
And I fell into the presence of the absolute. And I was standing before the living light. And everything it wanted from me wasn't asked of me in a linear fashion. Thoughts that follow. Thoughts, Keith, this is what I want from you, blah, 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 blah. It was an impregnation of a light packet, a forever packet. In fact, I'm unfolding it and unwrapping it right now, having this beautiful time with you. Everything it wanted was in that bang, if you will. I did not only hear the voice, Keith, good morning. I saw the voice, I smelled the voice, I tasted the voice. It was everything. And it simply asked me to go on the sofa, sit on it, bring my tape recorder and press record, close my eyes. I said, what am I going to say? It says, Keith, just go sit on the sofa. It'll come. And I sat on the sofa, took a few breaths. And this is the very beginning of my spiritual walk. And I hit record on the tape player. And that's when the gate opened for me. 1996.
Very nice.
Not so nice.
Not so nice, but very, very different. But I mean, you had some traveling and things involved though with this. So you made a trip to India. How did that come about?
Wow. Many years ago, after I started getting this spiritual crawl on, I went to a metaphysical church here in Memphis, Tennessee. And when it was over, metaphysical church, you can do what you want. Everybody understands. So I was standing on a stage with a friend of mine by the name of Paul, phenomenal artist. Oh my God, he's world renowned, phenomenal artist. And we were talking about some pictures that donned the wall. There's a lot of pictures. Mother Teresa, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, all Gandhi, and all these people. And we'd start dialoguing about them. And I said, but who is this cat? The last one in the lot. And he says, his name is Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, holy man from India. And I said, okay, well, what's his deal? He says, well, Keith, and he picks up this vessel off of the altar on the podium of the church, under those pictures. I wish I had it near. I don't. Picks up this vessel, and it's a vessel of holy ash. And he says, this man, alive today, has the ability to manifest things at will. And this came from the palm of his hand. I was like, that was it. I was hooked.
Yeah.
So I started reading every book I could find about Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. He doesn't write books. People write books about him. So I started reading every book I could find. I could start feeling him because of the character of who he is in those books I read. I can feel him in my house. And I started having dreams with him or about him. And for about a year, when I'm having these experiences, these are not dreams. When I'm having these experiences, I'm as conscious as I am now sometimes, if not more so. One night after a year, I'm being tapped on my etherical astral leg, if you will. And he's standing across from me across a river, however far. And so I immediately dropped onto my knees, and he says, Keith, stand up. This is not the time for that. He says, stand up. I said, yes, master. He says, and I say, I would love to do that. And all the books I've read, all the people who go there to debunk doctors, scientists, all that hype, they're going over there to disprove. These are the ones coming back writing these books. And they said, the people who actually met him and got to talk to him, he says, if I come to you in a dream, you are not dreaming. I am actually there. So he invites me to go to India, tells me to stand up. And I say, I've never done such a thing. How will I do it? I would love to go. I'm a musician. I'm trying to find my way. Where will I get the money? He goes, Keith, I got it. So I wake up the next morning, just flabbergasted, excited. I said, if I believe everything I've read, this is going to happen. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from a lady named Debbie Jabbour. She says, hi, Keith. I said, yes, ma'am. What's your name? She said, Debbie Jabbour. I said, how can I help you? She says, Keith, a mutual friend contacted me and told me you're looking for a way to get to India to see a holy man. I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, Keith, I'm a flight attendant. I got some companion passes for the year that are about to expire. And I would not like that to happen, knowing you want to go to India to see a holy man. Can I give you a first-class round-trip ticket? So 3 months later, I went to India to experience the most amazing divinity and miracles that thousands of people collectively will never see in a lifetime. So that's how that all came about. Long, but...
Very nice. And how was your trip to India? Like, what did you experience and the different things you had to do to get there? Besides waiting.
It felt very rich, like cheesecake. Seriously. We all love cheesecake. After about 4 or 5 bites,
it's too much,
right? They give you a wedge this big.
Thick, right.
Going to India and being in the presence, literally, of God in human form. Wow. This may shock some people. It may seem blasphemous. When you're open to the levels of God being omnipresent in everything, even in the things that we call bad, because there's grace afoot everywhere. It was like that 5th or 6th bite of cheesecake. I was there for 2 weeks. A week would have been enough.
Yeah.
I started getting so informationally pregnant. I literally started feeling bloated.
Oh, my goodness.
My journey there was simply my own path to God. It didn't have to look like Sai Baba. It could look like Jesus. It could look like cheesecake. It didn't matter to me. I was going on a soul journey for the sake of the journey alone to understand who I am and my journey to all that is. And when I got there, I got exactly what I wanted. And when I got back, I took everything of that experience and put it on a shelf as a trophy, as a memory, as an idea that I even want to surpass that. So my time with this avatar in India taught me that I don't need this avatar from India.
Now, you've had experience with other avatars, correct?
I have. One other in the physical way and many others in the dreamscape way.
And do they, who are these other avatars that you have either seen physically or you have had dreams about, and how did you come about having dreams about them?
Fantastic question. When you say who they are, I understand the question, but for those who may not be clear on what it is you're asking, there are all the same being, like this is the hand. It's one hand that has many different fingers. So for those who don't understand that, that's just a simple analogy to say that the God that is in you, me, and the we of it all is simply in all of these avatars is alive. But by name, if that's what you're asking, Swamiji Visvayogi, who is an avatar, his ninth incarnation on this planet. If the same God lives in all these beings, how can they have, they do have different personalities. Just like you and I, the same God lives in us. Well, we have different personalities. Likewise, Swamiji Visvayogi, who I'm fortunate to be around in a good year, twice a year, but at least once a year, is the ninth. This is his ninth incarnation. He's here to unify humanity. He was the first God-realized soul on the earth, however long, thousands upon thousands of years ago. I'm a disciple of his. He is illumined another level of path for me. Some of the others and the other realms of being, spirituality, would be Paramahansa Yogananda, Yeshua, Jesus himself, Babaji, all the spiritual, I wouldn't say cliche because that's kind of getting really sullying the sacred. But those names that we've heard about in the spiritual movement, I have touched, rubbed elbows with them. It doesn't make me special. It just makes me fortunate. And as a wayshower for others who truly want to dwell in this kingdom of higher power, higher light, where God in all its glorious form truly dwells and lives.
Just get into my place here.
I love it.
All right, so we're going through our questions. So I'm like trying to like scribble out as I go. I write everything down on a notebook so that way I can kind of remember. So what is your most memorable experience from the India trip?
That's a loaded,
question.
Dangerous question. Seriously, and the loaded is equally as powerful as the dangerous, and the dangerous is equally as powerful. It's a long story. Do you want me to tell it? I will. We have time. Everything. Wonderful. So, all of my life, being raised Catholic, I've always heard within me that Jesus, not the Christ, Jesus, the personality that we have known, is coming back to earth. So, Keith, are you saying they are different? Yes, they are different, but they're not. The difference is Christ is not a man. Christ is everything. Christ is omnipresent. It's the chair you're sitting on. It's the words you're hearing that's tickling the hairs in your ear that your mind transcribes in your head and gives you a feeling depending on what you believe. So the Christ is not a man. Jesus was a man who, over the course of his life, the dove descended into him in his baptism, if we will, over the course of his life. His whole life was a baptism into fire, divine fire. He said, the ones came before you baptized you in water. I come here to baptize you in fire. And so I've always heard he was coming back, Jesus, the personality. And so when I started writing The Divine Principle, this subject started to come up. And I'm like, man, please don't put me in this pit. I don't want to do this. I wanted to do it. The special part of me, the egoic part of me, I'll take on this task. I sure will. And I will reap every nugget I can get. But then the reality started to sit in. I don't want to go around monkeying with people's beautiful faith about Christianity and their deity. And that statement is what made me the candidate, because I decided to use my ego as the drive to bring out such a message, but my responsibility that I have to be very clear about what I do. That's what made me the catalyst and the candidate. So one night when I'm writing The Divine Principle, one day when I'm writing The Divine Principle, I'm like, I'm just going to get out this. It's in my way. I keep hearing Jesus is coming back, So I'm going to vent it and put it to a side. That night, 2 angels came to me and they spoke in each ear simultaneously. Said, Keith, we've been giving you this message for years. You started the chapter, finish it. And I said, I'm done. I'll write it down. I'll stick it out. I'll stick my neck out there. So I wrote about it. Some years later, come by. I get that phone call. I go to India. Even though I wrote about it, even inserted into the book that was yet to be published. So I go to India. And when I'm in America, I take a nap every day. When I was in India for 2 weeks, I never took a nap. So one day, I'm moving about early in the morning, and I go by a japamala, a prayer bead. So I go to the first darshan, which means blessings of a holy man, at 7:15. And I always got first row out of 35,000+ people there every day to see God on earth from all walks of life. clergy, sanitation workers, chefs, musicians, China, Russia, India, everywhere. And so he comes out, and he's walking, and he's literally 3 feet in front of me. I held up this prayer bead all along with everybody next to me, holding up whatever. He blesses, looks directly at me, skips over me, and continues. And he walks on. I'm like, bro, did you seriously just diss me like that? And I didn't understand, but I was grateful to be around a manifestation, whatever. Mm-hmm. So a little later, after the darshan, I'm moving about the ashram, coconut water hanging out in the courtyard, and everybody's in all their spiritual garb, heaven on earth, literally. Oh my God, it's just gorgeous. So I decide to go outside of the ashram, to go into the streets, to the stores, to buy souvenirs. I wanted to decorate my apartment like a shrine. Mm-hmm. So I go to the store, one of the stores, and I say, Saram? He says, yes. He says, what can I help you with? I said, I don't know. I trust that you have it. He says, you need a prayer bead to say your prayers to Sai Baba. And I said, that's exactly what I need. So I bought it. So as I'm coming back into the ashram, I get sleepy. And I don't mean I want to take a nap. It's like something's inducing sleep in me. Like I've been giving a nighttime cold medicine. Oh. I couldn't stand it. So the only day I took a nap. So I go take a nap, and I'm thrown into a cognitive experience with Satya Sai Baba in a gymnasium. Now keep in mind, I'm on the ashram of the light. So I'm in this gymnasium, and he says, everybody come down out of the bleachers. I have something special for you on the floor. And on this floor was a trunk that was just like the Ark of the Covenant. If you need an image, maybe the 10 Commandments or Indiana Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of covenant. It had scripture and carvings all over it. And I'm just drooling at the mouth. And one guy decides he's going to touch it. And I say, dude, don't touch that. He says, why not? I said, you have no idea what's going to come out of that thing. Sai Baba says it's for all of us to touch. And he's standing next to me. And because he said that, it got my attention. And I'm looking at him. And he looks directly at me and he says, Keith, I'm going to tell you something you have known all of your life and have had very much difficulty with. I said, what is that? He says, and then he says, we're going to all lift this gold trunk together. And we all grab the piece of it and we lift it up. He says, lift. And we put it to the side. And there were 3 figurines. There was a baby's crib, some goats, and a throne. And he looks directly to me and says, Keith, you have heard this before. You have troubled with this. The one you know as Yeshua ben Joseph will be born, occupied. He will come into a family of goat herders, and he will occupy this seat. This is what I was told. Mm-hmm. So I wake up out of this experience really upset, cussing God worse than a sailor. And after I felt I was heard, I used that very prayer bead I bought that morning. And I knew I had to be very, very, very clear about what it was I was asking, because God will give you what you ask for. And I said, I need to know the dream experience I just had is exactly the way I believe it to be. The word I used was, is it valid? This was in the year 2000. Is it valid? I kept saying this for hours in the beating hot sun. I finally got into Kuwant Hall. And I'm sitting there in prayer and meditation. Is it valid? Is it valid? When I felt heard, I opened my eyes. And there's an attendant right in front of my face, mirroring me, almost touching noses. And of course, I jumped back like, what the hell? And I look at his ID badge, and it said, valid 2000. And I said, Saidam, what is that? He turned, he goes, oh, it's backwards. I said, what does that mean? He looks at me and whispers right in my ear, I guess it means it's valid. And this whole Jesus unfoldment on earth thing began to happen. So when Sai Baba came out finally, he's facing the other way, and I said, this is it. He's not going to get any closer to me. He's facing the other way. I held up that prayer bead that I fervently opened my heart, and I said, is it valid? I asked the question back again. He turned around, stopped what he was doing, came over to me, and he put his hand on my hand, clasping this prayer bead. and I had an explosion of infinity happen inside of me that I saw the birth of the universe. Not only was I looking at myself, looking at him standing above me, I was him looking down at the smaller personality as me. So obviously this long-winded story has to have some bang, because this is what it was like being in the presence, and often, of magic, God, spirituality in a powerful way. I need some water.
Go ahead. That's fine. Have some water. Take a minute. Wow.
And so I take it you are Kim?
I'm Allison.
You're Allison.
I'm Allison, and Kim is over here. That's her hand, if you can see her.
I can see her hand with a green shirt.
Yep. She always hides. She hides over there.
I keep track of the questions.
She keeps track of any questions that come through chat. So.
Oh, lovely. Well, thank you both for having me. I'm having a blast just hanging out in your space.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So let's kind of switch some gears here a little bit. Let's kind of talk a little bit about your show. So what do you like to talk about on your show? I know you had one about there was one I think about paranormal or UFOs. I can't remember who it was with. Something black. I just watched it the other day. Yeah, with
Michael Roser, Dark Hour Roser.
Yeah.
I do that on my interviews. I love interviewing people. I love learning. But my greatest joy, since you asked, is doing just a one-off. I'm sitting in front of a camera. I may look at a Facebook stream or whatever, and people are talking. I see a lot of posts about anxiety or depression or this subject or that subject, spiritual, paranormal, and I will call it a title. I'll create a title, and I have no notes. I may find a video to support what I'm saying, but I just go in it very organic and very, very raw. Basically, I allow myself to, what I know is the open-eyed Keith, to get out the way and allow that very spirit to step in and do its thing. And that's sort of what I've been doing, talking with you girls here and everyone in the listening audience. So thank you. But that's my love. My greatest love and obligation and mission for the rest of my life is to empower people selfishly, because I love this feeling I get from being selfless. So it's really all about me. But I love seeing people smile, and especially from something I've done. I like the validation. It's like a torch saying, walk this way, keep doing more of this. People ask me, how do you know you're on the right path? The measurement stick is joy. However much joy, to wherever depth you have it, there is no greater walk. There's your barometer. There's your compass. It's really not hard. Spirituality is not hard. In fact, it's called being light, not heavy. So when we light and we just simply be, things simply help us to see. But that's my passion, is to, if there was ever a shortcut to spirituality and God realization, I would somewhat be that kind of guy.
And how do you use all this to help others?
I come from that very place that I want to see come alive in them. For example, if I may demonstrate, like right now, I can simply close my eyes and I begin to feel this fireball, if you will. Fire, it's not really a fire as we see it. It's something that burns, turns, churns, and yearns inside of me, forever changing into infinite possibilities. And I simply take that in word fashion, a holding space fashion, and deliver that. That is what gets me going. Not only do I get a reciprocal from watching people expand and grow down the timeline, but in the moment of being in that space, I feel so frickin' alive. In fact, there's no time, there's no death. All there is life. All there is life. And that's the stream that I love playing with my brothers and sisters in, is that garden of forever. Just being innocent children allowed to do what we want, provided we don't impinge and infringe on other people. Everything else is allowed. Everything else is a rule. The law is be joyful, blissful. And the other law is don't screw with people. Everything else is nonsense.
I had a sneeze coming on there.
God bless you.
It never fails. Every show, I always, about halfway through, I have to sneeze, and I usually try to hold it. So thank you.
Have you ever maybe looked at whatever message was coming through at the time you decided to sneeze? Hence, God bless you. Maybe that might be like a little sync.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. You never know.
Okay.
But it's always about halfway through the show. I always get that. Kind of going on with, I know you said that you watch some of the Facebook lives and like whatever kind of people are talking about, you might start talking about. I know one of the questions I saw pop in through chat was, what are your thoughts on like the paranormal?
Oh, I love the paranormal. I love the super paranormal. I love beyond normal. Normal's boring to me now. In fact, that which is everything beyond normal is my new normal. I love it all. I've lived the alien lifestyle. I still do. I love the conversation. I love the whole topic of it. I love the idea of disclosure. Mm-hmm. I don't need disclosure anymore. It was disclosed to me. I hung out with an alien human hybrid on the Earth for 4.5 years by the name of Nucleus A, who happens to be head of security for this quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy. And you're probably going, oh my God, this guy has lost it. No. I have lost it so much that I found something.
No, I'm very interested in like aliens and things like that. I always have been. And that's actually next week's topic. So I'm kind of, I think that's awesome though, that you're talking about this and that you've had experiences and encounters with extraterrestrials. So, I mean, have you ever been like above, like on one of their spacecrafts or anything like that?
I was last night. I was truly on a, it sounds like a painted picture. It doesn't matter to me. I know what I experienced was real. I was on the spaceship, the mothership Earth. It is literally a mothership, as we all are inside, on side of it, and we're hurtling through space at 1,000 miles per second. But yes, these are common occurrences for me. I've never, ever been abducted. I never got probed in the backside. Never. I've always been on craft. But what happens for me when I find myself and when I come to a state of consciousness above a craft, being aboard a craft, I do look around and say, this is where I'm at. I've shifted. This is real. What happens for me is I move beyond being in the quarters or the living room of the craft, which is mostly children, always about the children. Mm-hmm. But I move to a stream to where there's no physicality. Everyone's talking. Mm-hmm. It's all telepathic. So if someone's trying to get my attention or if there's a dialogue or a conversation I want to hear, I just simply use my will and lean into it. But I am aboard them often. Now, these can be higher beings that are using craft in my mind to help me understand I'm a part of something, or there is truly dimension that these higher beings have craft, but they're not really physical, but they can be, and I'm aboard them. But I do often. I'm one of the blessed ones in the sense that I just never been violated or taken beyond my will.
And what do you think they are trying to get from us? Do you think they're trying to get information, or are they trying to tell us something? What are your thoughts on that?
I would say that the lower in vibration they are, the harder the hardware is. It's more made of metal and iron. The higher the vibration, the less metal component or elements they need. So they're moving like us, and they're moving higher into the vibration of light to where it's no longer necessary. My feeling is when I'm aboard these craft, I'm not really aboard a physical craft whatsoever. The place it seems like I'm launching from is the layer just above the physicality, where the physicality is still an idea. So it's not necessarily physical. It's just an idea right above the idea of being physical, maybe in the realm of thought or imagination. That's where I join these, what I call others. Now, if I used my will, which it never occurs to me, possibly because I'm just not simply in that idea, to say, I want to go see what it's like to be in the physical aspect of the craft, then I probably could. And I have been. I go aboard craft, but for me, it's not like I'm being taken out of my body and I'm sitting in a physical hardware vehicle. It's not like that for me. It's just light and idea. But I'm definitely present aboard. It's not physical for me, but I am definitely present aboard a craft that is physical for the beings of which I am hanging out. That is absolutely sure.
Very nice. Okay, so then one of the questions kind of seems like it could go with this, but like, what are your views on outer body experiences? Do you think this is more like an outer body experience that you're having, or?
Yeah, I think it's both. I don't think, how can you separate that? Well, of course, there's really no such thing as out of body. You go out of body, even when you die, you don't go out of body. You just go further and deep into the spirit. Actually, you progress to the future timeline that is no longer a part of the vibration of when you were in said body. So that part of you really never dies. Abraham Lincoln is still alive. So we have all these things. So what is truly out of body? But in the sense that's being asked, let's play with that idea. Yeah, it's an out of body experience. It's a soul experience. It's an out of body soul experience. And they're all components of the same jaunt, the same vacation, the same hanging out with others. Because what I know as my body walks around every day, eats food, uses the restroom, does these things. Mm-hmm. But so, yeah, in this regard, it would be an out-of-body experience, but it's not out-of-body in the Robert Monroe sense that I am on this astral level. I think this is truly above I would say out-of-body would be considered the astral realm, the lower or higher, depending on where you're launched to. But I think this is definitely above, moving into more of a causal level. But I think all those components are true, yeah, absolutely.
Good answer. There's so much going on here for me to think about and process because I'm fascinated with these things. So we have another, let's see. Oh yeah, that was another thing. Darren was also wanting to know about your views on astral projection. He's got a lot of questions rolling in.
I love it. If you're interested in astral projection, I don't know your level of advancement, novice, intermediate, or advanced. If you have not, read Robert Monroe's book called Journeys Out of the Body. He used to be the president of NBC back when you had the turkey with the three-colored tail.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So we're playing in the same age boat. But he was just a normal guy. He didn't believe in none of this nonsense. He was the president of NBC. Mm-hmm. And he's walking down the road one day, and he got these vibrations. He said, what the hell is happening? And so he decided, maybe I just need to go take a nap or whatever. And the whole thing started to happen. So I've had out-of-body experiences that I visited a friend of mine. When this all first started to me, my mentor put me in a rebirthing session, breathing like this, to take you beyond the mind. And I blacked out for 30 seconds. So I come back to, just started breathing again. Uh-huh. Well, the next night, I went to a club. And those 30 seconds I blacked out, I was out of my body. And I saw a girl friend of mine walk in the club, way across the club, and wave at each other from a distance. We give that each other that come here sign. Yeah. So eventually she made her way to me and she sits down. I said, Tammy. And I begin to say, where were you day before yesterday at 5 o'clock? She goes, well, I was going to. And I said, shh, don't tell me anything else. I said, I saw you. She goes, what do you mean you saw me? I said, I saw you, Tammy. She goes, what does this mean? I said, I know you're not going to believe what I'm telling you, but as my friend, I'm asking you, play this out with me. She says, okay, Keith. She's raised Christian, fundamental Christian. So I can understand the dynamic for her. I said, I saw you day before yesterday. She says, okay, explain. I said, I was at the dome light of a car. I didn't say your car, a car. And I saw you get in the passenger side. And I saw you, and I said, you used a white cloth, and you were wiping down your car, the back seat. And I said, you had baggy pleated blue jeans on, brown pointed shoes. There was zippers on the bottom of your pants at the ankles. You had a pendant around your neck. I don't know who was driving, but it was a stick. Mm-hmm. There was somebody else driving. She goes, quit it. She said, oh, my God. I said, what was it? She goes, Keith, I was a passenger. She said, the day before yesterday, 5 o'clock, I was going to the mall and I left my windows open because the night before, it rained in my car. The white towel was still in my back seat. You want to see it? I said, you don't have to prove it to me. I'm the one telling you about it. Yeah. She had all the clothes on I described. It was her car. How often are you a passenger in your car? Right. Well, she said he was driving. Her new boyfriend was driving the car. Yeah. And it was a stick. So I played in these realms many, many times. So it's a very real experience, and it simply becomes one wanting to move beyond the body to experience more of the Spirit. And when you do, all fear of death will begin to leave you, and you will simply be able to live your life fully.
Okay, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So how can you decipher from a dream that feels like you may actually be somewhere to whether or not it's actually you're experiencing like an astral projection?
Fantastic question, a very well-deserved question. Because we all love dreams. I love dreaming. I love waking up and remembering the movie I watched on a screen. That's a dream. When you are so cognizant that you realize this is going down right here and right now, Ready Player One.
Yeah.
You are in the game. You are in the experience. Now, when you leave said experience and you wake up, you will remember it as if you watched a movie on the screen. But you will know from soul to bones, you are not just remembering something. You are remembering that you were there. It's very small in difference, but it's very huge. That's the line between imagination, mind, and reality, soul.
I just had a question about that because I think it was maybe a year or two ago. I had a dream that was so vivid that we were on an investigation and Kim and I were upstairs to this place and I could remember it like it looked like a kid's room. There was like a rocking chair, some dolls, and a chest and a bed. And we walk up there, and I remember there was like a little teddy bear that kind of moved. And then there was like a doll that was there that, she like kind of moved and talked and kind of creeped us out. And then like I saw something kind of crawl at us and that freaked me out. Well, I was telling Kim about the little girl that I had seen in this too and what she had looked like. And Kim had gone through and she was watching some paranormal things. She's like, I think you were describing the Sally house. And I've never been there, seen it, or anything. But I literally felt like I was there doing an investigation. Well, this last summer, we had made our way to that area. I was drawn to that place. We weren't investigating that particular place, but I had to go there. I had to drive by it. And there was one particular window upstairs that I was drawn to, which I'm almost thinking it was that room, but like I said, I haven't been in that place yet. But that's why I was asking because, it felt so real and I was describing all these things and the pictures she was showing me looked a lot like what I had been seeing in my dream.
So no one can ever change your mind about it, can they?
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It's an experience. An experience is what is real. It's not the goodness or the badness in life that's real. It's the experience of both as the observer, the one who has experience and forever will. That is the truth. Everything else is just a story. Sometimes it's a pretty story. Sometimes it's a not so pretty story. But it's all given in grace that we understand the greatest story of the universe looks just like you when you look in the mirror. There is nothing else. Everything else is noise.
Here comes that sneeze again.
There you go. There's your message. Girls, if you don't mind, I have to tend to something for 30 seconds. Can I do that without?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. I'll catch up and get the questions. Yep, absolutely. Yep. All right, so does anybody while he is away? Oh, we got some questions here. Okay, Darren, I'll get to those as soon as he gets back. He had to step away for just a moment. But while we're taking this little break for a second, remember everybody that this weekend is Kim's birthday. So make sure you give her a shout out. And it's also Taylor's birthday.
Yeah, Taylor's birthday from Raven Rose.
Yep, Taylor's birthday from Raven Rose. And then, of course, Kim. So make sure everybody gives them shout outs on social media. And
we will be going live this weekend. We've got an investigation this weekend.
Yep, so stay tuned to that.
My apologies. I had to have an out-of-body experience.
That's okay. You're fine. No worries. No worries. We just gave a little shout out. I was just telling everybody make sure to wish Kim a happy birthday for this weekend. So, and another one of our...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Sweet Kim, happy birthday to you.
There you go. Woo!
More.
Thank you.
Woo! Very nice. Very nice. That was very nice. Very nice. Okay, so we got some more questions. Darren's on a roll, so
He's
Come
finally
on.
got him going.
he is whipping them out like this right now. So we'll get them answered here.
They were right there.
Oh, okay, you got them all. Okay. Okay, so one of his questions is, what are your views on deja vu and your dream combination?
Deja vu is very real, but it's overworked. It's overexcited. There's a side of deja vu is not what it seems. Yes, we've all had that experience. It's like, whoa, what is that? And so many different layers and fractals and multi dimensions of an awareness kicks in and goes, I've been here before, but I'm just getting in here now. So how can that be? That is the greatest question, is how can that be? That's where liberation is. But also deja vu, it can be tricky in the sense that when we go, let's say you, I, and others, we're going to a supermarket and we're hanging out. We're going to Wally World, watch all the crazy people do what they do. And we're crazy because we're there with them.
Yeah.
So the point is, we're just hanging out. And as we walk in the door, you say something to me, and that triggers this whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
The mind, the senses of ourselves, the nose, the eyes, taste, hearing, feeling, intuition, all this, we get bombarded with this all the time. It just so happens in the level of sensory input by the gazillions and trillions and infantillions of megabits per second, the mind moves all this around, and we are cognizant, we are aware, we understand, we walk on the conveyor belt or whatever you call it, and the door opens and we grab a bucket, we get all that. But in this swirling and twirling about in the experience, some of it makes a pass. I'm going to go get a buggy and walk to the door, go get a buggy, and you said something to me, and then it passes around again. And so this quick loop in a matter of beyond a fraction, levels we can't even possibly grasp, small intervals, it passes through the filter again. So it seems like this experience has occurred before. So what I'm saying is, beyond those two, everything else is possible. So deja vu, in fact, right now, me talking, you listening, you experiencing, we all experiencing each other, is deja vu. This is simply a memory. This is something that's already happened. It never happened. It's already happened. It will always happen. Like leaving the body in death, sometimes, always, we leave that experience behind as we gradate into another experience of fullness. So this is always an unfoldment process. So in such a way, it's all self-created here and now, but it's also a memory. And this loop will spin around. We have to spin ourselves around and do the hokey pokey. Turn ourselves
around. Yeah.
But I love it because it's so dreamy. And sometimes we all love dreaming. We all love daydreaming. We all love dreaming, but sometimes nightmares happen. So this is applicable on every possible level. But it's all dreaming. And the magic happens when you realize you will never die. Well, Keith, I understand I will never die because my body's going to die. No, I mean, really, lean into that. You will always exist. You will always exist. That's like sucking on a spiritual lollipop and your favorite flavor, and you just feel like a kid again, because such a liberation happens when you simply realize that you're immortal, you're eternal. God bless you.
I know. It's hanging there. I'm trying to hold it till afterwards because I always sneeze during the show.
Let it out, sister. Cast out that demon.
I know. Okay, let's see here. Another question is, being out of your body for 30 seconds, how long have you gone in that state of your body, or in that state? And then it says, of your body, does it feel like you're gone for hours?
Absolutely. Many years ago, this brings me back many years ago. I'm sleeping. I'm in an experience. I have a wife, 2.5 children. I have a job, 9 to 5. I lived this experience for 2 weeks. And you know that tug think about this, everyone. Imagine it. You're sleeping last night and you're about to wake up and you're in that little zone in between being unconscious and the gray area, and you feel the tug that's pulling you to the bedroom and you're about to open your eyes. So after this 2-week life experience with a wife and 2.5 children, I feel that tug and I feel that, oh my God, what an amazing experience that was. And I feel I'm awake because I woke up from said dream experience. And I'm living a life with a wife, 1 whatever children, 9 to 5 for a week. And then I feel that same tug happening again, and I'm actually waking up into my on earth bedroom. So I lived 3 weeks in 8 hours.
Wow.
Of sleep. And they were all very real. These were not dreams. I thought, wow, I'm living with my wife and my children. This is what I'm doing. As to why when I woke up the first time, I was like, oh my God, that was just a dream.
Wow.
Or reality check.
Yeah. Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, because if you think about this, if you think about doing something you love, you and I, Allison, we're going to go hang out and play basketball, whatever reasons. We like basketball. And we're there for 4 freaking sweating hours, and it's hot. We don't care about the heat because we're into the magic.
Yeah.
And we're doing our thing.
Mm-hmm.
You go sit in a dentist or a doctor's office for 45 minutes. Where does time go? It goes directly into your bones. It's an amazing exercise to find who and what and where you are is to look at a clock and count the seconds. Sit there for a minute. That minute is painful.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It hurts. It hurts. But here's the thing. You got to stay there for a minute. If you think you're so tough, stay there for 5. Try it for 5. Just watch every tick, tick, tick on that clock.
Oh, yeah.
It will last an eternity.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you do something you love, 5 minutes is just truly lightning flashing.
Yep, that's right. I like, sitting there watching the clock, waiting to go home from work at 5 o'clock.
It lingers.
It takes forever.
And if we talk to people or we've had conversation with people, is today busy? Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's awesome because it feels like I get to go home sooner because they're so busy all day. So time is simply a play of the mind. And ironically, time is the overseer of infinity. This paradox, it never stops. God is truly a paradox. So time is the overseer. It's the father, if you will, the record keeper of infinity.
Let's see here. Darren had another question about the extraterrestrials. He wants to know what they look like, basically. What do they look like to you?
Darren?
Yeah. Yep, Darren.
No, they look like Darren.
They look like Darren.
Me. They look like me. A lot of them that I have seen, like I said, when I get aboard these craft, the idea of a craft, when I get aboard, inboard, outboard, whatever this thing is, I see them momentarily. Sometimes I hang out for a bit, but then again, like we just talked about, time gets very, very squishy, very squirrely. So what in that realm, what I'd call, I'm aboard the craft for a period or a time. They look like children, many of them. And I don't mean the adults look like children, which they do, but the children are everywhere. The children fuel, for me, in my experience, the children fuel the craft. Well, Keith, don't they travel on gasoline or star power? No, the children fuel the craft. What I mean by that is the children fuel the mission. It's always about the curiosity, the wonderment, the awe of the children. The whole universal system on a higher intelligent cosmic level is driven by the curiosity and the innocence of children. That is so freaking delicious to me.
That's just weird, yeah.
Right? Because, go ahead, dear, please.
No, that's just interesting because I've never heard it that way. I've never heard about like the children or anything. I've heard, some people say that they've had encounters, but they look kind of like us, but they may be pale but they are like human form.
And some of them are children, and some of them are hybrids, and some of them, believe it or not, are actually humans who have never set foot on Earth. And some of them are so alien, it makes you uncomfortable, and it makes you want to wiggle and squirm because it's just not what the mind understands. But when I'm in these realms, I get some of that. And I immediately, like I said earlier, just not because I'm trying to get out of something that's strange. I just go to the place that is more joyful, that barometer we talked about earlier, that it more of a conscious stream of living light. Mm-hmm. That's what we are. We are in the conscious stream of living light, whether we are conscious of that fact or not. So when we are conscious of that fact, merrily, life is but a dream, we go down the stream. But when we're unconscious, like rapids, we buck the current and it causes turbulence like rapids. And we're always trying to get upstream, like salmon, only to be eaten by a bear. There's nothing we want upstream. There's nothing we want upstream. So in this allegory, when I get aboard these ideas of craft, I would call that downstream and allow myself to put my oars down and let the current turn my raft. And I simply go higher into that which is beyond boundaries. We all have this ability. Everyone. I'm not special. I'm just doing it. Uh-huh. I don't know why. I know how I'm doing it. I don't necessarily why. In other words, it doesn't make me or set me apart from anybody else. But so if anyone is interested in learning more of my teachings, you can find me at keithanthonyblanchard.com or centeroflightradio.com. Look me up on youtube.com/centeroflightradio. I offer my heart for free. You know, you can always support my work, support your work as we play. But this is what I do. I live in the garden and I love seeing people. Hell, if you know how to grow a good flower, teach me.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. That's right. Okay, we have one more question here before we start wrapping things up. They want to know what movie to you personally brings you full circle as to what you're talking about tonight.
Any movie?
Any movie. Yeah.
This sounds like a sales pitch, a shameless pitch. It's not. It truly isn't. I mean, there are so many movies that move me. What's the movie? Martin Scorsese. The Last Temptation of Christ. Love it. One, it makes Jesus a man. It doesn't make him so divine. It shows his gradation into divinity. And as he is divine and a man, and so we become man and divine ourselves. If you go to youtube.com, or if you can find me, Keith Anthony Blanchard, you know how to find me, or how you're technologically savvy this way. Go to keithanthonyblanchard.com or centeroflightradio.com and look up this movie that I made in a month. I never made a movie before. I get out of bed and it says, make a movie. So I fashioned this dialogue and got these Google images and some clips. So to answer your question, it's not a sales pitch. It's truly because of the question you asked. What best describes what I'm offering? Is this movie I've created called And the Meek Shall Inherit the Earth, the Prophecy Realized. It's about a 50-minute view. It totally encapsulates everything that I have come here to do, as well as how one can jump aboard said Ascensionville train to be in that very river of flow, that life flow of least effort. Your life is not meant to be hard. If you're hard on yourself, you will never feel light. Just stop all of it. The noise, the trouble, the discord, the judgment. So what does that mean? It means shut up. Every aspect and shut down every aspect of what you think is real. Because when you walk into the cave of Samadhi, what is the cave of Samadhi? Samadhi. It's your daily life of being in union with God. That means some part of you is going to die. It has to die or you can never experience it. Because if we could experience it, we would have it already. So some part of us has to die. That's called the resurrection of something beautiful in ourselves. So to answer your question long about, and the meek shall inherit the earth, the prophecy realized. So what does the prophecy realize? It looks like you when you look in the mirror.
Very nice. Very well said. Excuse me.
God bless you.
Excuse me. There, it came out a little bit. It came out a little bit. I tried to turn away. I couldn't hold it in any longer.
I really enjoyed my time, girls. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed it too. It was very interesting. Learned a lot of things that I didn't know about. You've had a lot of interesting experiences. So yeah, I want to make sure that everyone goes checks out your books. They're available on Amazon, correct?
That's right.
Is there anywhere else they can find them, or are they just on Amazon that you know?
You can find them on my website, centeroflightradio.com. Just go to the Creations tab. Just peruse the website. You will see it's everywhere. Everything I do is in this deliberate chaos. You might see a book and you might see a plate of spaghetti, and it's just everywhere and repeats itself, and it's fun. You can always find me on Facebook at Keith A. Blanchard. You know how to find me. Hang out with me. I'm just a guy next door. When I play music or do what I do, if I never met you and I want to meet you, I'll pull up a chair and sit next to you and start eating out of your French fry basket. That's just me. And I will have a conversation with you and just love you as you are, as you deserve. That's
very nice. Very nice. So make sure everybody that's listening right now and that's in chat, go check out Keith on his websites. Go check out his YouTube. Very interesting on there as well. Make sure you guys go check out his books on Amazon. And also want to say next week is we're not going to do a guest. We're just going to talk about UFOs, extraterrestrials, and the Men in Black. So make sure you check in for that. Like I said, this weekend, Kim and I are going to be out. So make sure you check her Facebook Live page for that for more details. And once again, we want to thank Keith. We want to thank everybody who was in chat. We had Matt, Darren, we had myself, we had Kim tonight. We had so thank you everybody who was in chat tonight. Thank you for all the awesome questions, and thank you everybody who was not in chat but listening. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we will be back here next week. And like I said, thank you once again, Keith, for being on.
Thank you.
It was very, very awesome to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for listening to REP Paranormal and Friends. Be sure to check out Kim and Allison on Facebook at REP Paranormal Busters.